So to rate the F series, utility-wise, they're all just pens, and they all have the same cartridge. So I'd say they all have about the same utility in terms of being able to write. Now, in my experience, they haven't been that bad in terms of skipping or
No.
being really scratchy or blocky. So I'm going to put the utility, I'd say it's about a 5.
I would probably say it's about a 6, given that I probably have more experience with other types of pens, and especially with some of the colored inks for ballpoints. Some of those skip pretty badly, so
5 or 6 in terms of utility on all three of these, because they all share the same cartridge, and that's really what this is coming down to for utility. Awesomeness is going to vary between the three of them, because that goes over appearance as well as just kind of how you feel about them in general. I am not super favorable on the 301. It's a decent value pen, but in terms of how awesome it is, I'm actually going to put it at about a 3.
I agree with that.
I mean, it's not horrible, but you can do a lot better. It's not that awesome of a pen. The 402, however, is a little nicer. I'm actually going to put it at a 5 for awesomeness.
Yeah, if we have to go with a whole number, I probably would put it about there. If you would let me do like a decimal or a fraction, I'd probably put it about 4.5.
4.5, yeah. Well, and I was kind of feeling on the utility, it's more like a 5.5. And you said 6. So on awesomeness, I would put the 402 at a 5. It's good. And then awesomeness with the F701, I'm doing it. I'm saying it's a 7.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is my EDC pen, and I think it's awesome. It writes well. It feels good. It looks cool to me.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to get any better than that, it might as well be gilded or something.
And you could buy, I'm sure there are nicer pens out there, but there probably are not nicer pens for the price, which brings us to cost. For the cost on the pens, as mentioned in part 2, the F301 is around $2, which puts it in the great category, or rank 6. The F402 is around $3.35, which puts it in the good category, between $2 to $4, at 5. And the F701 is around $5.15 to $5.50, and that puts it in the average category, between $4 and $6 for pens. On the weight and balance for all these, as we said, they kind of get better as you move along, and we pointed out the balance of them as we went up. I would say this one is only a fair in balance. It's not what I would consider to be bad, but I would say it's slightly below average for a pen.
That's fair. Haha.
The 402's weight and balance,
It's not bad.
it's not bad. I'm not sure if I would call it good. I'm not sure if it's 4 or 5.
I'd put it at 4.
You know, I think that's fair, or average, if you prefer, to say that it's about a 4 in terms of weight and balance. You could definitely go lighter, and you could get better balanced, but they're not bad either way. I would say it's average with maybe edging toward good, like a 4.4 or something like that in the scale. The weight and balance, though, of the F701, I am going to call it great. I think it's a 6.
Yeah, 6 is probably okay for me. If it were lighter and still kept the same balance, I would go with a 7. But because it is a little on the heavier side, a 6 is probably a good rating.
Then ergonomics and comfort. There's nothing really all that ergonomic about this one. The plastic feels kind of scratchy sometimes as you're writing, especially if you slide it up and down. The edges of the clip actually have some sharp point to them right there that could potentially cut you, and it's not really long enough to keep the clip off of the fat of your hand.
It all just depends on how you hold your pen and how big and small your hands are, because if you look at this, the clip just barely touches me.
So this one's ergonomics, I'm actually going to go a 2, because realistically, in terms of ergonomics, I would rather be writing with something like this with just a rubber grip on it than the F301. But I'm giving this as an ergonomic score a 2. What do you think?
I don't like the pen in general, so I don't know that I could really be all that fair with it.
Okay.
I'd say it's probably a 3.
Now the 402, much more ergonomical. There's none of that sharpness with the clip. The grip to me is very comfortable in hand. It's not the most cushy grip I've ever had, but it's on a stock pen. It's not bad.
Awful.
So I'm going to actually say that they get a nice jump. I'm going to put the ergos on this at a 5. Probably a lower 5, but I'm going to put it at 5.
Yeah, and this one actually goes above my hand on the clip, the way that I hold it. I don't know that I would give it a 5. I'd probably give it an average and a 4.
And then the F701. The ergonomics and comfort on this is surprisingly comfortable. I know with the knurled grip, I know you had some concerns.
Yeah, it was just because it reminded me, I set a tire pressure gauge. It could probably be about like any knurled tool that you keep in the garage. I just thought it would be a little awkward. Knurled is the diamondized kind of texture, and it just feels weird to have on a pen, but it's actually surprisingly comfortable.
I'm going to rate the ergonomics and comfort on this. Shoot, I'm going 7.
I wasn't going to go that high. I don't know. I'm going to have a grip. I want it to be a really nice, comfortable. Not that this is bad, but it's not rubberized. It's all metal. So in a pen, I would prefer to have a rubberized grip that has a little bit more give to it than these two do. So you're not, when you're writing with it for a long time, it doesn't get too uncomfortable. I was going to say 6.
So ergonomics, this is, for me, a 2. This was a 5, and this was a 7. And then for you, you had a 3, a 4, and a 6. And then the last thing is legality, and I gotta be honest, I can't think of a good reason that anyone would ban these pens.
Why would you ban a pen?
Well, this is not a tactical pen. Supposedly, there are some places that have rules on your tactical pens, but even with the solid steel modification here, which does give you a solid steel thing, which I guess in a pinch you could use as a weapon. I mean, you could stab somebody with any of these, but really? I mean, I guess, like, most dangerous, you could cut somebody with these. This is probably next on the TSA's ban list right here. Because this probably qualifies as a blade to some government official somewhere.
That's a really small blade.
Have you seen what they ban now? You can't even carry a squirt PS4 on a plane anymore. They don't look tactical. They don't have a glass breaker or anything really all that offensive on them that should make them banned anywhere. I'm going to say legality-wise, it should be a 7 because it's just a pen.
It's just a pen.
So there you have it. The F series by Zebra. F301, F402, and F701. This is my choice for an EDC pen right here. Mm-hmm. To be dethroned, potentially. But for now, this is what I'm carrying all the time. And I carry it unmodified except for with the blue tip because I like blue for signing official documents at work so that they can tell that my signature wasn't copied. I like blue ink. And if you want, you can modify it. You can do the whole space pen mod if you're into that. Or you can do the desktop mod of the rounded clip if you prefer. But there's a lot of choices here. One of these pens might be right for you. My vote is get yourself an F701. For the money, it's going to be hard to beat.
Yep, I agree.
So thank you, Ames Reeds, for joining me, Amy, for joining me on this.
Hey, you're welcome. It was fun, and we have probably some more pen reviews coming up. Look for me or listen for me in future videos.
Thank you. Class dismissed.